Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here, and I'm doing my review for the Control Limited Edition Art and Making of book, which is why it's so freaking huge. As you can see, got my Control album in the background there. I was excited. This was supposed to not come in until Tuesday, actually, and random email came in and it was like, it's delivered. I was like, oh, okay, that's amazing. I was super happy because this thing came out in August, I believe. It was technically the pre-order, I should say. Came out in August. I think I was finally charged maybe like a week and a half ago. It was like, okay, now we're gonna finally charge you your money, and it's gonna get sent out. And so it was supposed to get here Tuesday. Then it was like, hey, update, it'll be here Monday. And I was like, well, that's great. And then even better update, it actually came while I was here and not while I was at work. So I was super happy. Just picking up the box, I was like, oh, this thing is huge. I thought, you see it from the picture, obviously it's this. Like, when you see it here, it's kind of like, oh, it's just, it's a making of book. So I have my last making of book, or my last art book, I should say. It's for my game of the year this year, Ghost of Tsushima. And so this thing is nice. It's a decent weight. It's good. I didn't do a review on this one because I just didn't. And then this one just came and I was like, it's for Control. I've been waiting forever for this. I was like, it's getting a full video. It's Control. As much as I love Ghost of Tsushima, it's good. And the art style on this, that's amazing. It feels good. I like that. I probably should do an unboxing. I got a samurai hat. I go spice it up a little. Wish I had a Control hat, or not a hat, but a shirt. Well, I would like a Control hat too. That'd be sweet. But that one's decent. That was nice. It's a nice weight and heft to it. This thing is heavy. This thing is like heavy. So I loved it. As soon as I picked up the box, I was like, oh, this is gonna be different than what I was thinking. I was like, it's an art book. I got it because I love Control. That's obviously why I got, the record and stuff. I also have the record for Ghost of Tsushima. Whenever that comes in, PlayStation, if you guys want to. I've been waiting on that pre-order for a long time too. And it says back order. It has me a little worried. But two games that I really, really love. And so got the art book for that. And then this one came in and it was just different. It was just different. It was heavy. So I got the little, they had this little pamphlet here on the back, so I'll read it off. They actually have some really cool stuff on here. So it's the Art and Making of Control, a Future Press companion book. So this is limited edition. I don't know if they're going to put out another version. Like, it's specifically, when it first came out, this was all I saw. So if there even is another version that was already out, I didn't look at it. I saw this. It was limited edition, and I bought it. And it was only like $40. I think it's 51 now, and on here it actually says $60. So if you check out Amazon, that's where I got it from. With the pre-order, it was like $43 or something like that. And when I checked the price today, I think it was only $51. So it's still not the full 60. Haven't gone through it yet, but if you really like that game, even close to as much as I do, I think it's worth it, especially considering how much you actually get in this. It's not just like, oh, here's a few pages. It's 100 and something. Here we go, more than 400 pages. Like, all this info is on the back, but this is the little thing you get. It was, when it was in the plastic, this was on the back, so obviously it has the little image that they use for the pyramid. It's blank on the back here, and then of course it just says Control. Make sure, there we go. Make it like, that's actually heavy to like have in my palm like that. That's pretty heavy. So it's definitely cool, and they have some cool stuff on here. So fortunately, this is one of the things that I like. A lot of things that come with the little pamphlet, I guess, where it's like, oh, here's this random thing, it's typically different. So as a collector, I like to keep these little pamphlets, and most of the time they're like the weird wraparound things, so they're technically bigger than the box that they came in, and it's like you have to fold it up. This can actually go right inside here. It's smaller than this. That's a minor thing, I know, but from a collector standpoint, I love that because it means I can literally just put this away with the book, and I won't have to fold it or do anything extra to kind of keep it in the position that it's in. They actually made it smaller than the box that it can go inside. So for anyone that's curious, it can just fit right in. You won't have to bend it up. That might be like a couple of people that are coming across this that actually care that much about it. But from a collector standpoint, I was actually super happy. I was like, oh, because I thought it was on the back, and then it came off, and I was like, oh, that sucks. And then I realized, like, it's actually smaller than this box. So it can just go in with the book. So I was happy about that. But the Art and Making of Control, a Future Press companion book, it says warning/proposition. So if you haven't played the game and for whatever reason you're checking this out, this is something that the board does. They have I can't explain Control. Honestly, it is what it is. We're just gonna go with their aliens. Interdimensional beings is more appropriate. But every time they speak, they'll say something like, attack slash assault. They'll say like the same thing in two different ways. So it says warning slash proposition. This book slash museum's protective case is made of delicate slash unknown material. Handle with caution slash impudence to avoid decay slash growth. So I love that. That's a really cool little bit of the game actually being on the text. And it says, a beautiful behind-the-scenes look at the art and creation of Remedy's Control. The art and making of Control is a truly unique, limited edition companion book for one of the most outstanding games of recent times. I agree with that. I love Control. I wish they would do New Game Plus, but I still love the game. Remedy's world-class art direction is given the treatment it deserves. Concept art, sketches, and renders are beautifully framed across more than 400 pages of in-depth, behind-the-scenes content. Take a journey through the game design, VFX work, narrative design, creative direction, costume design, and world building that have collectively brought Control and its expansions to life, which is insane. So this, I'm pretty sure, was announced, and it's kind of funny because they even have it on here. This, I think, was in August, so that was before they even released the DLC. So I thought that was kind of cool, but it does say includes unseen artwork from the Foundation and AWE expansions, and those, of course, are the 2 expansions for the game. But it says limited edition with premium hardcover, which I would assume is technically this right here. Premium hardcover there. Printed on high-quality art paper with colored edge pages. That I love. That's like one of the coolest things about it. Like, you know, you look down on it, because odds are you won't have it sticking straight up, but you look down on it, you got, you know, simple, sleek design here, but that red, it just sticks out, and it looks so nice, and that's just the thing. Like, I can just put it up, and it's fine. It's just, that's how big this book is. Over 400 pages. Thread sewn binding for a maximum page view and durability, and that is actually, they got the little thing where, I forgot what it's actually called, if you go on Shutterfly, it's an option that they have for books, and it's actually good for binding, where there's a little bit of space down here. So if you open up the pages, that looks great. This is why I love that this game has video game photography. Like, oh, then that's some extra stuff slipping out the back there, but you can take these pictures if you want to in the game. It's amazing, and I cannot wait to get my PS5 since they recently released Control Ultimate Edition on PlayStation Plus. I highly recommend you pick it up. If, once again, for whatever reason you're checking this out and you have not played the game, I highly recommend it. Like, I love the game. I love Remedy. They're my favorite developer because of, admittedly, Alan Wake is like one of my favorite games of all time. They also did Max Payne, so they know action, and the way they tell stories is just some of my favorites. So I love Alan Wake, is just one of my favorites. Control was coming out. I was like, I can't wait. Like, they've been planning Control for a long time. They do some crazy stuff. They've been planning this game for like 8 years. So here's the cover. Obviously the red. Let's see what else we got here. Comes in a textured protective slipcase. 3 exclusive art cards in a unique folder, which was what was slipping out the back there. United States of America, Federal Bureau of Control, supplemental material. And this is just 3 art cards. On the back, it says FBC document, REC, has the numbers and stuff like that. It even has the address for the oldest house, Federal Bureau of Control, 33 Thomas Street, New York, New York. And this was just kind of hidden in the back of the book. And it's just 3 little art pieces. Well, I shouldn't say little, but 3 art pieces. Kind of wallpaper style. I think that's an alternate costume. Yeah, I think that costume's in the game. I think that's the one where she has like her hair in a ponytail. And then we have this one. I like this one. This makes me think of a much crazier version of something from Evil Dead. I don't know why, but for some reason, like, just seeing that specifically made me think of Evil Dead. But I like this. It's definitely cool. And these are, of course, like, the simple parts. It's just like, okay, cool. You know, little art pieces that are just kind of thrown in there. They look good. And it even comes, you know, they could have just thrown it in the back of the book like, surprise. But no, they even though it's just a tiny little folder, they still put it in there. And I think that's really cool. That just kind of adds to it. Also, that's the same image as here. That one image. So, I love that. And you have, like, you know, your little slip folder there. So, that's great. And then, like I said, includes unseen artwork from the Foundation and AWE expansions. So, getting into this, I checked it out like a tiny bit. Like, tiny little bit. And I happened to open up the page, and I was like, oh, there's Jessie. And I was like, I just randomly opened, and there were a buttload of pages way before Jessie popped in. And that is because literally the character designs do not come into this book until page 80. That's how much stuff is in this book. So, Jessie Faden. Let's see what they got. Yeah, so character and costume design is chapter 2. As at page 80. That's crazy. So we got Jesse Faden, Zachariah Trench, Ati, Emily Pope, Dylan Faden, Helen Marshall, Simon Arish, Raya Underhill, Frederick Langston, and Dr. Casper Darling. I'm going to go to Darling because Dr. Darling is played by Alan Wake himself. So we're going to go to page 122, which is the craziest thing to me. That is Alan Wake. Right there. That's the guy. That's his voice. I did not realize that for a little bit, and he said something very specific, and I was like, that's Alan Wake. And the director, who was in here somewhere, is Max Payne. So that's one of the things I like about Remedy. They kind of keep things going. Oh, gotta have pictures of this, of course. So this is from a great moment in the game. Once again, if you haven't played it, you're missing out. I will not give any context, but that is one of the funniest moments in the game. It's super random, and it's a good sort of late game surprise where it's just like, that happened, and it was very entertaining, so I enjoyed it. But I love this already. Just, it's a ridiculous amount. Like, normally, you get these, and it's like, okay, it feels like you get a little bit of kind of what goes into the game, because, of course, it's typically just like, this was like a slight, inspiration. In fact, why don't we go with Ghost of Tsushima as an example? Not to like harp on Ghost of Tsushima as if they did a bad job or anything. Also, outer shell case. I'll do this in the review. This also comes off. Like, I could actually slip this whole box out of this, which I found very interesting. So, I don't know. It doesn't have the text on it if you take it out. But now that I'm talking about it so much, I want to do a review on it because I never planned on doing that. But now I want to. So, let's go with a random page out of here. So, jeez. So this is different too. You can see how it has like that fold where it goes like right across. And then for the control book, they have the little space at the bottom here. Like that little bit where the spine is, that does make a difference to how the pages survive and stuff like that. So if you, especially with the book being as big as it is, go to somewhere in the middle, it keeps it from actually like tearing because they're kind of on the, you can see that there's a little bit of space there. So it actually kind of helps the pages as they're on that curve. And it also keeps them protected, on the outer edge. So I like that. We'll go with, so the introduction is there. So we have characters here. So it's like, boom, here's a picture, and there's one character. And then we shoot, which I still can't believe that there's this much. I'm at 265, and there's like half, like there's so much in this book. Like, it's insane. Like, if you are into art, this is a chapter, just the maintenance sector. That's what it's all about. That's it. Just, here you go. It's like canisters. Black rock extinguishers. Why would anybody think like, oh, I just, what was the concept of those fire extinguishers they had? Here you go. You can find out. Who puts that in the game? Who puts it in the book, I mean? Got the Hiss Ranger. Let's see. I'm trying to get to someone specific. Let's see what we got. Okay, Zachariah Trench. Played by Max Payne. So, all of that right there. You have live action shots. Him actually getting dressed up. You, of course, have the character here. Goes through his background. They go through the casting. They go through the costume design. They have things that other people have said, talking about the actual actor. Then we go to Ati. It's only 2 pages. But just this stuff, like going through the concepts, looking at character designs, talking about the characters, looking at, live action pictures of people. And I think that's so much deeper than what most people do. Like, I love what they did in the Ghost of Tsushima book, but it is really, it's an art book. It's not a making of book. Still good, but it's just on a different level when it's like, here's the making of this game. It really is more than just an art book. It truly is the art and making of Control, which is why it's over 400 freaking pages. I always forget how to actually put this thing in. I think it's technically supposed to be this way. I have OCD. I've always hated this, where you have to, actually no, this one actually does it the way I want to, sort of. And maybe it's only because I'm right-handed. I would just take this out the wrong way, because I'd have it like this, and I would always take it out like that. But technically, I think this one does it the way I kind of like. And Control does it the opposite way. Yeah. So if I take this out, it's the back of the book. I always hate that. Actually, Ghost of Tsushima actually does it right. That's like probably the first time that's ever happened. I always hate that when I get like my anime DVDs, and they always come out and it's like, technically to put them in the right way, you got to pull them out backwards. I think everything on Earth does that, and I always thought that's so weird. Like, you can just flip it and when you pull it out, it's the front of the case. Like, just reverse it. Like, no one cares. Like, it just makes more sense. But either way, that's how it works. Every time you pull it out, it'll be backwards, unless you want to put it in with the red, red side showing. But that's not a ding on the actual book itself. That is eternal, I think. I don't know why, but that's just how everybody always does it. But I love this. I think it's a really good book. Obviously, I'm not going to go through this whole thing here, but I definitely wanted to show it off and kind of give my initial impressions on it and talk about, what I like, what I don't like. So far, I don't really see much that I don't like. I do have, like, a couple little spots here on this page, so that sucks. And I don't think that's intentional, so that's very random that I happen to find that out of the 400 pages. So, as of now, unless I just did that, which I don't think I did, but it happens to be the page that I was showing off. You can see it right there. You can see, like, kind of those little scuffs and stuff like that. I don't believe that's a part of, the artistic vision of the book. It just seems like that page just happened to have that. And like I said, unless I just did that by somehow, like, moving it around, which I don't think I did. But aside from that, this is good. Ooh, this is a good picture, too. These are good. Obviously, I'm not going to... I couldn't possibly show it all. I mean, the video would be so freaking long if I tried to with 400 pages worth of stuff. But, the expansions. We got Alan Wake. Alan Wake right there. This might actually... Hold up. This might actually help me with something, because I was really curious if they got the live-action actor back. And this, I think, would actually have the answer I'm looking for, now that I think about it. So, AW is page 374. So we're going to figure this out. Because I have always wondered, because you can't really see his face, because they did CG. That's cool. They have the Shoom stuff in here. But you can't really see his face, because it's all CG. And I was curious, did they get the original live-action actor back for Alan Wake? Because he's in, like, this little piece that they have that I showed you guys where he's in red. That's pretty much all you really see of him. And they had a little hint to that in the main game as well. You find, like, a page from the book. And so I was like, they only really show him in CG, which is very different than what they used to do. Like, Alan Wake, it was all live action. That's kind of what Remedy does. Like, a lot of their stuff is live action. This is actually, like, the first game where you don't see the main characters in live action, like, at all throughout the game. Because they do that in Alan Wake. Well, I guess technically they don't. Maybe I think at the end of Alan Wake they did, and in Alan Wake's American Nightmare you see them a lot. But you see the live action actors, in the Max Payne 1 and 2, they're in stills, but it's still like live action people, like they do the actual pictures and stuff. So I was always curious. I don't know if I'll find my answer in here, but maybe I will. I'll have to obviously read through this, so I'm not going to end up doing that right now. But I was always super curious. I was like, did they get the actor back, or is it someone else? Very interesting. I love the DLC, by the way. Also, you can check that out on my gaming channel. I went through all of Alan Wake. Actually, you can check that out on this channel. I went through all of Alan Wake and Alan Wake's American Nightmare a couple months back on my Twitch channel. That was crazy. That looks grotesque. That's from the DLC, so if you haven't seen it, I won't spoil that. But he looks gross, and he's very, very creepy, and I loved it. But you can check that out on my channel. I went through all of Alan Wake and Alan Wake's American Nightmare. On my gaming channel, Invisible High, you can check out my stuff for Control. I did like 420 videos of all the DLC content. So you guys can definitely check that out if you're interested and see my experience and my absolute love of both Alan Wake and Control. And those two games tying together in the AW expansion was like just the coolest thing ever for me. I'm very excited for what I assume is going to be in like a year or so, an announcement officially for Alan Wake 2. So I'm very excited for that. Maybe that will have a full making of and art book, and I would love to pick that up. Whatever they do for that, I hope they make a collector's edition. That, like, I have the one for the original Alan Wake. I would love to get a collector's edition for Alan Wake 2. But aside from going through every freaking page of this over 400 page book, I just kind of wanted to give my overall impressions of it, my review of it, kind of just off the top, like a little bit, like the content of the book versus the price that it comes for. I think it's worth the $60, even though I, of course, got it early and it was only $43. Even then, I was like, okay, that's cool. It was really for the game. That's the same reason I bought the album. It's not like I play the album that often. I got it because I love the game that much. And then actually getting it and seeing like how much is truly in this thing, it's way beyond what I was anticipating. Like I said, just the weight of it. When I picked up that first box, or when I picked up the Amazon box, I was like, oh, this is different than what I was thinking. I was kind of thinking more in the range of Ghost of Tsushima. Cool, as you know, a bunch of art and stuff like that. The pages are also amazing. That is something with the Ghost of Tsushima book that really sucks. They did not do like high quality like art pages. It's kind of like cheaper paper, and the pictures don't look as good. But I ended up getting it because I was like, I love the game so much. I want to have the art and the concepts that, you know, don't officially show up. So I ended up getting it. But these are like gloss pages, which if you've ever made like a picture book, if you've done Shutterfly, or you ever had to do that for school, if you happen to go into what I went to, which was media, pages matter, especially when you're doing pictures. Like, you want to have like good, thick pages and stuff like that. And these are nice. And I said gloss, but they're not gloss. They're good matte pages for the actual picture. So you get really high quality images, because that does make a difference. It's very different than, it's just, you print a picture out on regular computer paper. It doesn't look as good. That does make a difference when you have the pages. And they chose very high-end pages. They knew what they were doing. And they're like, we're going to make this. Okay. They have the logo design in here. I'm actually very excited to go through that part. Now, it really caught me off guard, where they're going through logos. It's a small segment here, these couple pages. I actually really want to see this. Typography, on-brand typography and stuff. That's so cool. That is not something that you see a lot. And they have stuff redacted too. That's so good. That is so cool. So there you go. There's a little bit of art for you, logo designs and whatnot. This is sweet. I love this. I'm super happy I got this now, because at first I was already excited. Like I said, it was for the game. I love the game. I was like, I would love to get the art and the concepts of, this thing. They even have VFX and the Northlight engine. They talk about the engine in this game. This, I think everyone should pick up. Everyone should pick this game up for sure. This is a little concept piece for the light probes. So the image right here, those are the light probes inside this room, and that's just what it looked like, so that they had a good reference, I would assume. That is so cool. People do not put this stuff in art. This really is like a making of book. They're talking about like this stuff with the animations and how you can destroy the environment. They have the hiss VFX. This is amazing, honestly. There's stuff about like actual design in here. This is really good. Like, so if you want to learn a couple things, they even have RTX off and RTX on. They even have that in the book. That's amazing. That is funny. Yeah, I'm in love with this book. This is like the coolest thing ever. So I went, oh my goodness, that creeped the crap out of me. They have the Threshold kids. They have their own part. So there's that. That is so cool. I'm really geeking out about this, because I didn't realize there was going to be like this much content in it. But I'm going to have to like actually like read this whole book. That is super cool. And then they have the Remedy credits here at the end. Ooh. Yeah, this is amazing. So, if you haven't picked this up, if you're just into like art and games, like, kind of the process of making something artistic, highly recommend this. If you, once again, I'm saying this for like the second or third time, if for whatever reason you haven't played Control, if you don't even know Remedy, you haven't played Alan Wake, maybe you played Max Payne a super long time ago, maybe you didn't play Quantum Break at all, artistic is like almost not enough for this company. Like the things that they do in their games and like the way that they pace things out, visually and storytelling wise, it is something to behold. Honestly, I'm in love with that company, so I highly recommend you pick this up. Even if you have not played the game, maybe don't read through it all, because clearly the whole game is spoiled in this. Like, it has to be, because every single detail must be within these pages. But I highly recommend you pick this up, even if you can't, get it for like a cheaper price. Get it for the $60. It's totally worth it. I think it looks amazing. It's a giant book. I like the little outer shell. I like the extra little pamphlets, the little leaflet that we get with our extra little books inside. Like I said early on, minute thing from a collector standpoint, you can save this. And it even has a little bit, you know, the warning proposition thing. That's just a good little piece of the game to be like, you know, even on the writing, we're just going to put, you know, something a little extra for you guys. So I think it's great. I highly recommend you pick this up. This has to be one of the best art books that's out there. I don't buy a lot of art books. I'll be totally honest. I only have, I think, 3 at this point. I have this one, Ghost of Tsushima, and then I have a BioShock Infinite one, which I got from Loot Crate like a super long time ago. So these are actually the first 2 that I ever specifically chose to buy because I love the game so much. And this being an art book / making of, it just changes everything. Like, everyone should make a book like this. If you ever put out an art book, this is what it should be like. It should be art and making of. I know that won't happen for every game, but this is kind of what every art book should be from here on out. Like, it should be art and it should be making of, and you just make it worth it. If your game is good enough, just give us all the information. Like, this could work. You know, it probably won't ever happen now, but this sort of book is the type of thing I would love for like a Metal Gear or a Resident Evil. Like, my favorite franchise is Dead Space. Oh, Dead Space. Miss Dead Space so much. This is the type of book where I would have been like, I'm buying that because it's one of my favorite franchises, and that's just like, here's what it feels like, you know, having not gone through all of it. What feels like the entire process. They even have casting and how they casted characters and stuff. The entire process of a game being made. I love that sort of stuff because I love game design. And with it being one of my favorite games of all time already, like, I love Control, one from definitely my favorite developer, I can't recommend this enough. Probably a bit of a bias. Like I said, I have loved Remedy for quite a long time, but this is worth it. Like, this I highly recommend. If you like Control, get it. If you just like art books, get it. If you want an actual in-depth art and making of a book, get this freaking thing. For whatever it costs you, I think it's worth it. Obviously, you have to think it's worth it, so that is totally up to you. Maybe I'll just put this in the book, because that makes way more sense than trying to have it on the outside. I'll just put it in the book. Smart stuff. Smart stuff. There we go. Bam. And it just fits right in. Fits right in with the pictures. Simple and clean. So that is my review of the Control. What? That just looks good. That actually does look good like that. Maybe I will leave it this way, because that actually looks really sweet. Not that you can see it, because I'm going to have it in like this. I'm not going to have it in that way, but I don't. Who knows? Maybe I will, because that just looks nice. That just looks good. That looks good. Those are my thoughts. Obviously, I love it. Like, I've already loved the game. Over 400 pages. That's just crazy to me. I think that's worth it, you know, on its own. But the fact that they go through so much stuff, you see behind-the-scenes content that you couldn't possibly see, you know, in the game. It's basically like having a commentary of the entire game, just in book form. It's from casting, you know, behind-the-scenes pictures of the actual actors, behind-the-scenes stuff of literally the puppet show that they made in the game. You can see, like, the table. Like, I didn't show the picture, but they had a table where it was just all the instruments they used to make the puppet show. You know, there's glue and scissors and this and that. And it's like just little set pictures, stuff like that. I really love, especially for something that I actually enjoyed. So I would personally recommend it, but I would love to know your thoughts. If you guys have any questions, you can definitely ask. I'll, you know, shoot through the book and I'll let you guys know what I find. But I would love to know your thoughts on this. As a first impression, I absolutely loved it. I pretty much went through most of what I went through in this book is pretty much everything I've seen. The only thing I saw before that was the fact that I opened up to page like 80 something, and that's when the character started. That was like the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh crap, this is serious. So pretty much everything else I saw, you guys saw with me. But I loved it. I'm excited to actually go through this. Like, I'm really kind of amped to go through this one, especially because I've been waiting so long for it, and to see how much value is really put into this, it's great. So I absolutely recommend it. We'd love to know what you guys thought about it, though, so please put your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, anything that I could, you know, find out from the book, if any questions on, you know, the build of it, like I said, the spine and the way they do the actual pages, I think all of that works out really well to kind of save durability, which is even, you know, on the back of the actual, you know, the little pamphlet piece. So construction of it is well done. Obviously, the visual of it, like, they didn't have to do the red edges, but that's a part of, like, you know, the imagery of the hiss and stuff like that. So they did that just because. They also didn't have to put it inside of a little case, but they did just because. So you can have like that flat minimalist image, which is a big part of Control. Like, you just giant scale images, but really it's like the simplest things. It's just like a giant pyramid coming down in a white background, but it looks amazing. So they did a really great job with this, design-wise, content-wise. It's 100% worth it, in my personal opinion. But we'll let us know what you guys thought about it, so please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.